Now, this is a map of Solomon's temple. Now, his temple is a lot more complex than most people realize. It was actually a 4-story building, completely filled with gold, precious jewels, and rare woods. Now, I'm sure that you recall that there is a veil or a curtain that separates the holy from the Holy of Holies. This is the curtain that was in the tabernacle, and this is also what was split at the time of Jesus. However, what most people don't realize is that in Solomon's temple, there were no curtains, there were doors. They were wooden doors, very ornate and covered in gold. So there were doors here, and there were doors at the main entrance. So this tells us that Solomon's temple had a lot more bling than the one that Jesus saw. And that's simply because when Jerusalem gets conquered, the temple gets stripped of all the precious stones and gold. And when they rebuild it, it doesn't get decorated again very well until the time of Herod. And even then, he didn't have nearly as much money as Solomon did. That being said, the operation of the temple worked just like the tabernacle. You have your area for washings out here, both of the priest and the offerings. This is where they would burn the offering. You still have the holy, you still have the Holy of Holies, where they would keep the ark. And while priests could minister in the holies, only one would be chosen to go into the Holy of Holies to offer the sacrifice for the Lord. And as the story is told, they would tie a rope around his ankle when he went in case God struck him dead, then they could yank on the rope and pull him out. Now, believe it or not, the structure did actually have windows so it could let in natural light. Not everything was torchlit, despite what movies might tell you. Now, if you recall, the tabernacle had several pillars holding it up, but the temple had 2 very big pillars, and the 2 pillars actually had names. Kind of hard to see, I know, because of the fold, but the one to the north was named Boaz. That name's going to sound familiar, isn't it? And the one to the south was named Jachin. Now, the bronze altar for the burnt offerings was absolutely huge. Let me zoom in a bit. Look how tiny this guy is compared to this giant barbecue. Can you just imagine how many hamburgers you could cook up with something like this? This was 30 feet across. That is a huge barbecue.